Hello everyone, and welcome back to the official Egsma tutorial series. In this video, we will dive deep into the seller management section, covering everything from admin panel configuration to seller panel functionalities. We'll go through each step to ensure you have a clear understanding of how to manage your sellers efficiently. So, let's get started. First, log in to your admin panel by entering your username and password, then click Login. Once logged in, you will land on the admin dashboard, where you can access various settings and controls. Now, let's start with the seller configuration settings, where we will explore how to manage seller navigation and listings effectively. To do this, go to the Configuration section and select Seller Configuration. This will open the control center for all seller-related settings within your Egsma platform. By customizing these settings to fit your requirements, you can create a seamless seller management system that works efficiently for both you and your sellers. After making the necessary adjustments, click Save Changes to apply them. That covers the seller configuration section. Feel free to explore all the settings on your end to gain a deeper understanding of their functionalities. Next, let's explore the seller navigation section. This feature allows the admin to control which menus will be accessible to sellers in their dedicated panel. To configure this, go to the Configuration section and select Seller Navigation. On this page, you will see a comprehensive list of all the menus currently configured for sellers. Let's take a closer look at the available options. Each menu item is displayed with key details, including its page name, URL, status, and number of subpages. If the admin wants to add a new item to the seller panel, they can do so using the Add Menu button. To add a new menu, click Add Menu, enter the menu name and URL, then set its status to active or inactive. You can also define whether this menu will have subpages. Once done, click Save to apply the changes. On the seller navigation page, you can use the Sort by dropdown, which defaults to Recently Added, to organize your menu items efficiently. Additionally, there is a search bar that allows you to quickly locate specific menu items. For each menu item, you'll find an action column. Clicking on the three dots in this column opens a drop-down menu with options like Edit and Set as landing page. The Edit option allows you to modify the details of the menu item, while the Set as landing page option makes this page the default landing page when sellers log into their seller panel. Now that we've covered the seller navigation section, let's move on to another crucial aspect of seller management: seller mandatory steps. To access this, go to the Configuration section and select Seller Mandatory Steps. On this page, you can define the necessary information that sellers must provide before they can start adding products to the marketplace. One of the key sections here is Payment Details, where you'll find the Set Payment Method option. This toggle lets you enforce a requirement for sellers to set up their payment method before they can list their products. When enabled, sellers must configure how they will receive their earnings before proceeding further. Now, under My Account Details, you can define which fields are mandatory for seller accounts. You can select various fields based on your requirements. By checking these boxes, you make these fields mandatory for sellers to complete during the setup process. This ensures that all necessary information is collected before they start selling on your Egsma platform. These mandatory configurations play a critical role in maintaining quality control across the marketplace, ensuring that sellers provide complete and essential information before listing their products. Once you've made the necessary selections, click Save Changes to apply them. Now let's move to the Seller section of the Egsma platform. To do this, go to the Sellers menu. As you can see, the Seller dropdown has several submenus. For now, let's explore the Seller Listing option. Here, you will find a complete list of all sellers registered on your Egsma platform. This screen provides full control over seller management, allowing you to easily monitor which sellers are verified, when they joined, and their current status. The table organizes seller details into columns, including Seller ID, Seller Name, Shop Name, and a verification column indicating whether the seller is verified or not. The Seller Email ID and Date column show when the seller registered, while the Status column indicates whether the seller is active or inactive. Now, let's move forward and learn how to manually add a new seller to your marketplace. To do this, click the Add Seller button. Once clicked, you will be redirected to the Add Seller form, where you can enter the seller's details. On this page, you will see multiple fields under the Seller Details section. Some of these fields are mandatory, meaning the admin must fill them in before saving the seller's profile. Once all the required fields are entered, scroll down and click Create Account. After saving, the newly added seller will appear in the All Sellers list along with their details. They will then be able to log in and start managing their store. This completes the Add Seller process from the admin side. Now, let's move on to the next steps in managing sellers on the Egsma platform. On the seller listing page, locate the action column for each seller. You will notice 3 dots in this column. Clicking on these dots will open a drop-down menu with several options, each allowing you to perform specific actions on the seller. For example, if you click on the Edit button, you will be redirected to the Edit Seller page, where you can update the seller's details. Once you've made your changes, simply click Save Changes to apply them. Next is the Disable option. If you select Disable, the seller will be temporarily deactivated from your marketplace. This means they will no longer be visible to customers, but their profile will still remain in your seller listing, with their status updated accordingly. This feature is useful if you want to pause a seller's sales without deleting their account entirely. You can always re-enable them later by selecting the Enable option from the same drop-down menu. Another option is Login as Seller. If you select this, the admin will be able to access the seller panel directly from the seller listing page. This is especially helpful if you need to check or manage a seller's panel for any reason. Now, let's see how a seller's profile appears to customers on the front end. From the same action dropdown, click on View in Store. This will redirect you to the seller profile page on your website, allowing you to see exactly how it looks from the customer's perspective. This is precisely how customers will experience the seller profile page, making it easy for them to browse products and make purchases. Next, let's explore how you can send a message to your sellers. From the same action dropdown, click on Send Message. This will open the Send Message to Seller prompt, where you can enter your message. After typing your message, simply click Send. This method ensures that sellers receive notifications directly in their seller panel, making communication between admins and sellers quick and efficient. Next, let's see how you can change a seller's password. Again, go to the Action column dropdown and click on Change Password. A reset password prompt will appear, allowing you to enter a new password for the seller panel. Once you've entered the new password, click Change to apply it. Finally, there is the Delete option. Clicking Delete will permanently remove the seller from your marketplace. A confirmation prompt will likely appear to prevent accidental deletions. Once confirmed, the seller will be completely removed from the seller listing table and will no longer be available on your website. Use this option carefully, as this action cannot be undone. Now, let's take a look at another powerful feature on the seller listing page. At the top right, you will notice the More Actions button. Clicking on it opens a drop-down menu that includes the Add Seller by CSV option. This feature is designed to save you time when managing multiple sellers at once. Let's explore the Add Seller by CSV option, which is perfect for adding multiple sellers to your marketplace in one go. Click on the Add Seller by CSV button to navigate to the Add Seller by CSV page, where you can bulk add sellers using a CSV file. Under Upload Seller CSV, you can download a sample CSV file by clicking on the Download File link below to understand the required format. After preparing your CSV file with all the necessary seller details, upload it by clicking on the Upload CSV button. Once uploaded, click Validate to check for errors, then click Submit to add the sellers to your marketplace. Now, let's explore another time-saving feature on the seller listing page, the Bulk Action dropdown. You will notice that each seller row has a checkbox on the left, allowing you to select multiple sellers at once. After selecting one or more sellers, go to the Bulk Action dropdown at the top right. Clicking on it will reveal a list of options, including Enable and Disable. The Enable option lets you activate multiple sellers simultaneously. If you have previously disabled any sellers, this feature allows you to re-enable them in bulk. Once enabled, their status will change back to active, and they will become visible to customers on your marketplace again. Moving on to the Disable option, this feature allows you to deactivate multiple sellers at once. Select the sellers you want to disable, then choose the Disable option from the drop-down menu. The selected sellers will be temporarily removed from your marketplace, and their status will be updated to disabled. They will no longer be visible to customers on the front end, but you can always re-enable them later using the Enable option, which we discussed earlier. Now, let's explore another useful feature on the seller listing page, the Export Detail button. If you need to download a detailed list of all sellers for record-keeping purposes, this feature makes the process quick and efficient. Click on the Export Detail button, and you will be redirected to the Export Sellers page, where you can customize and download seller data as a CSV file. Let's go through this process step by step. Under the Export Sellers page, you'll find a section labeled Choose Columns for Export on the left. This allows you to select specific details that you want to include in your CSV file. You can check or uncheck fields based on what information you need. Next, you'll need to set a date range for the sellers you want to export. Below the column selection, there are From and To fields where you can enter the specific date range. Once you've chosen the columns and set the date range, you have two options. You can click the Export button to download the CSV file immediately, or you can click Save and Export, which will save your column preferences for future exports. Before the file downloads, clicking Export will generate a CSV file containing all the selected seller details within the date range you've specified, making it easy to maintain records efficiently. Now, let's see how individuals can register as sellers on your marketplace. To sign up, they need to access the seller registration page and enter their name, email, password, and confirm their password. After filling in all the required details, they can click Create My Account to complete the registration process. Once registered, the seller will receive a confirmation email containing their login credentials, which they can use to access their seller panel and start managing their store. Now, let's move to the seller panel to understand what sellers see when they log in. Sellers can log in using their email ID and password received in their confirmation email. To do so, they need to visit the seller login page, enter their credentials, and click Login to My Account. Upon successful login, they will be redirected to the seller dashboard, where they can manage their stores on the marketplace. The seller dashboard displays key metrics such as total sales, total orders, pending orders, listed products, and recent orders. Sellers can also access various settings and management options through their seller panel, which is divided into multiple sections. This allows them to handle essential tasks such as product management, order management, and other store-related settings efficiently. From the My Account option under the Profile section, sellers can update their details. Additionally, they have the option to change their password and view their store by clicking the View Profile button. With the seller panel, sellers have complete control over their products, orders, and profile settings, making it easy to efficiently manage their business. That concludes the seller management section of your Egsma marketplace. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.